What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 5 of the Fuel for Football podcast. I'm your host, Sanchez, and it's scorching weather. So forgive me, it's going to be hot, windows open, so if there's background noise, forgive me. And we're looking at a topic today that's very close to my heart. And so I've got a timer on here, so I don't keep you here all day, but I've got a timer on, and it's a concept that every player has gone through, and that's being a substitute. And that's something that everybody's experienced. And the reason why it's important to talk about it today is because not every player handles being a substitute particularly well. Okay, and so the aim of this podcast is for you to feel or to have a number of strategies that can empower you in order to make sure that you become a submaxer if you are a player that is experiencing that. And so what is submax? So submax is, split into two words, sub and max. Sub is the nature of the context of you being a substitute, and then max is you maximizing the opportunity that you get, no matter how big or small. Now, I'm not going to be that guy that assumes that you have 15-20 minutes to always play. Sometimes you might be played literally in stoppage time, maybe as a tactical move to waste time. So I'm not going to say that what you can apply today is going to be able to make you make a difference in 5 seconds, but it's the mindset that you need to condition yourself before you even get onto the pitch for you to then make the best impact that you can. All right, and so that's the concept and the aim for today, and just really exploring the whole concept of being on the bench, exploring the whole nature of being a substitute. Some coaches let every single player know that they're important players within the team. In some ways it's good for a coach to do that because you maintain a good working relationship. You let players know that they're actually considered and they're thought of, but not every coach does that. And so there are consequences of that, because a player doesn't feel important, a player doesn't feel like they're of use to the team, and there's so many negative factors that can follow on from there. And so we can't place our trust in a coach to make us feel important to the team. So it's important for you to know your value, to know that you're a valuable instrument, and that's something that you have to protect yourself, because there's going to be scenarios and contexts that are going to threaten that importance level. There's going to be contexts that will threaten your ability to believe that you are important to the team. And this is where you have to protect yourselves, because it's easy for you to lose confidence when you're not getting a game time. Now, as a waiver, there's so many factors as to why you're not getting the game time in the team. And one of them is politics. So there could be political reasons that are far from your ability level as to why you're not playing. It could be a philosophy of the coach, it could be pressure from the owners, it could be so many other factors, and so this reinforces why it's important for you to protect your own confidence levels, know exactly what you bring to the team, and know that there are factors that are going to be out of your control that will prevent you from getting a game time. So that's something that's very important before we even go on to the steps. So let's go over it, just because we've got so much to discuss today and we've got a great guest to speak to. Step 1 is for you to not let the disappointment of being a substitute last. Now, I hope you understand the importance of what I've just said there. Don't let it last. So I want you to be frustrated. If I can almost write this down, step 1 is to be frustrated. Because you are a competitor, you are meant to be someone that's getting as much game time and showing their ability as much as possible. Show or be disappointed. Being placed on the bench is never going to be an enjoyable experience. So it's you now identifying that you can't let this last, because that's going to have a negative effect on your mood. It's going to be having a negative effect off the field. It's going to then almost compromise your ability to get yourself in the mind frame of a game. Whether you are going to be playing or not, it's good to keep your mind stimulated, and we're going to get onto that a little bit later. Step 2 is identifying the criteria. Now, I love this stage because a lot of the time we don't do this the right way. If we get told that we're not going to be playing a game, or we're going to be on the substitute bench and we're not getting the game time over a period of time, we then make assumptions. We make assumptions that the coach don't like us. Maybe the coach don't pay attention to us. The coach prefers someone else. We make so many assumptions, and it clogs our mind, and it almost hinders your opportunity to maximize your performance and the opportunities that you have to get yourself back into the team. What can we do to just ease our mind? Go into the horse's mouth. Go into the coach, not to moan and ask why you're not getting game time, not to say play me or I'll prove you right, Identifying the criteria, identifying what you need to do to get yourself into that team. You could even go further and identify what you need to do to get in the team and to stay in the team. You can also ask another question. You could even couple these together with the other question and ask, why are you not getting into the team? Identify that, and then you should be able to get specific information from the coach, which will allow you to move on to the next step. Those are important questions, and the way you phrase those questions is going to be very important for you in the following steps. So identifying the criteria, going to the coach directly. Now, I understand that there might be challenges. Sometimes the coach might not be willing to speak, but if you really you gotta go for what you're looking for. You want game time. You gotta push. You gotta say like you need to speak to him. And sometimes I will take this opportunity to acknowledge that sometimes the coach might not tell you exactly what they want from you, or they might be very coy. Draw out the information. What is it that I need to do on the pitch? What is it that you need from a striker or someone that's in your position? If you know your coach is someone who keeps his hands close to the chest, why don't you just ask him, what are you looking for out of your strikers? So you have to be very tactical with this approach, and it's all about knowing who you're speaking to. So you know the coach, I don't know your coach. Whoever you're speaking to and the type of information that they give, have to be very tactical with the information that you need to draw from them. Now that we've identified the criteria, we're moving on to application. Now, once you get the information that the coach has given you, you need to set yourself some targets for you to achieve daily. Now, to keep yourself engaged and to feel like you're doing something different, I would say set yourself 5 targets for you to achieve in the week. So there's things that you can do to set yourself a target per training session, and they don't have to be so long and so exhausting, but they're things that are habits that you're creating in order for you to get used to that and display this in training so your coach can see it, so you're actually touching on the criteria for you to get in the team. So why is this whole SUBMAX concept important? Because we have a number of pillars that we need to make sure are well satisfied when we're playing the game. And so one is our psychological welfare. So making sure that you're not allowing this disappointment to ruin the rest of these pillars, because it affects your mood, and you not getting the game time can ruin that. Time's running out. My social welfare, making sure you've got the right people around you that can help take your mind off the disappointment as well when you're off the field. You've got your personal welfare, which is you ensuring that you've got things that are keeping you engaged, keeping you busy off the field, so personal hobbies or activities. And lastly, we've got your professional welfare, so you're putting in the targets and putting in the work in order to make sure you change your narrative. And so hopefully this adds a bit more value to you. Play these back once again. I would love to hear how you get on. And now we're going to speak to Fran Sol, who plays for Dyanamo Kiev, to hear about his experiences and how things have worked in his career. So I'm joined with Francisco. Sol, good to see you, my man. How are you?
Very good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. You're looking like you're quite fresh. You got your hair done, etc. Not like me. What's been your secret?
What's been what? Sorry.
What's been your secret?
Well, my secret to get to this point, it's about believing, it's about never giving up. I had many situations, many obstacles in my life that I've been through, and I never gave up. I almost gave up, but deep in my heart already was something small that it couldn't let me stop. So I think that's the secret. Believing and have motivation for something.
Lovely. And perfect in terms of where we're going now. So we've almost had conversations before, but you've had a great career so far in terms of different countries. You played in the La Liga, and then you've gone to the Eredivisie, and now you're in Ukraine. Things are starting to pick up for you now. You're training. Are you back to getting game time, or what's the situation with football in Ukraine?
I think we already played some control games, some friendly games. So right. I think we are game fit, the most of the guys. Of course, it's been some injuries, but I think we are handling quite good, and the league will start if everything is not changing so far will start on 30th of May. So this Saturday.
That's pretty impressive.
Very nice and very optimistic.
Is that going to be the stadium's closed, or is it going to be fans that are able to come and see?
Yeah. It's good. No, it's going to be, like you said, empty stadium, which is not the best solution. I mean, it's the unique solution right now, but we don't like to play like this with our public, because at the end of the day we play for them. But we understand now that the situation is what it is, and we need to adapt ourselves to this till the situation gets better, and then we can play for them once again.
Excellent. No, it's good to see you back in action, and it's good to see some football going on. You know, it's been a long time. I'm sure it's been difficult during this time for you. How have you been coping?
I mean, it's been difficult because I've missed so much football, but being around my family, being around my son, which I cannot be around so much time all over the year. So for me, it's been like a refreshment. Yes. And I'm very glad that this situation happened for us, because in Ukraine you get a lot of time out of home, so we needed kind of this to be at home with our loved ones, with our people, because it's so difficult here in Ukraine for families.
Absolutely, yeah. And I guess it's almost making the best of the situation that we're in, you know? We're not being,
Exactly. We don't like the situation, and I have many friends which has suffered this coronavirus, and fortunately they got recovered, but still, you know, my family also very bad in Spain. Mm-hmm. But we sat down and we said, well, what can we do now? We just crying around, or we take the best out of this situation? So what we've done is we almost built a gym in our terrace.
Oh really? Yeah, I've seen. Yeah,
my Instagram account, and we both trained together, my wife and me, while the baby was sleeping. So it was a wonderful time for us to do something new, and to keep the mind away from this global crisis.
Yeah, and for the viewers watching, like, Francisco's page is pretty impressive, so check it out. You know, he's got all the exercises on there, and you've got a new TikTok account too, so check that out, guys. But looking now into your career, and you know, your playing experience now, you're 28 now, so you're someone who's in the prime of their career, which means you've got quite a bit of experience from being a young player trying to get into the team, to you moving to a new club now and breaking into the team there. So how do you think you've developed from your time at Villarreal into you being at Dyanamo Kiev now, in terms of you handling not getting enough game time? How have you developed?
I think this is one of the most difficult situations for a young player. When you get not the play time you would like. And I think if you can get over this shit situation, which all of us have gone through, I think you can handle much better the problems that you will find in the future. I mean, if for example you focus your mind in other things. By the time I was not playing a lot, I mean, I focused my mind in other kind of things out of football, like my hobbies, or spending more time trying to learn new things, or even building a business with my by that time my girlfriend. I think this helped me a lot to just take the football in a way that is not the 100% of my life, and I believed in my talent, so I didn't work so much. I didn't put all the work so much in football, and this worked for me in terms that don't think so much about football. And then it all became to happen. To my debut in La Liga, my next move in Willem, and after that my new contract in Dyanamo Kiev. So that's I think that's the key point. Just be a little bit more your mind having in another place, in another focus it in another subject.
Understood. Yeah, and I think that helps you not to be so disappointed because you've got other things that you're working on and you've got your focus in other avenues as well. So I think that's a good point that you raised there. And let's focus a little bit on your Willem experience, because you're a legend there in terms of your experience. But it didn't start off the way that you wanted it to. It didn't start off with the game time you wanted. So talk about that and how you actually handled not getting the game time to then turn it around to being the player of the whole league, wasn't it?
Yes, I mean, I was starting not like a very important player. I came there like just testing because I never played in first in Premier League, so it was a kind of test. So what I did is just like listen a lot to my teammates, listen to the coaches, what they wanted to say to me, and just like be open-minded to the new stuff. I didn't only listen to myself, and I didn't only listen to what I was thinking was the best for me, because when you go to a new team, which everybody is professional, which everybody has gone through many things, you being a newbie, I think you need to learn a lot and open your eyes, open your ears in terms of learning new stuff, and then by doing this, becoming better player, and in my case, one of the best players.
Yeah. So essentially, one of the things you said is speaking to the coach and kind of finding out what you need to do to get yourself in the team. How was if you look back then, how was your mood? Like, how did you handle it? Was it something that was very tough for you? Was it challenging, or was you quite like optimistic and you just wanted to work to get yourself into the team? How did you handle it emotionally?
I was very optimistic. I was thinking every time that everything was gonna be alright, because the mood of everybody, the atmosphere out there was great. So I think I was thinking, well, all I need is just wait a little bit, be patient till the things come together, and that's what happened. I mean, I was not in this mood that angriness or disappointment. No, by the on the other hand, I was very very optimistic and with a quite good mood.
Yeah, and I almost want to congratulate you for that, because that's a beautiful story, you know, in terms of you heading there and the circumstances around that and what you did in order to break into the team. So I just want to give you your praise there. And, you know, for the viewers, once again, if you don't know the story, do check it out. It's a beautiful story. And fast forward to now, where it's almost like for every footballer, there's always a challenge. And now you've gone to a new country, new set of order in Ukraine, and it's a similar challenge for you now. How are you handling this experience?
Well, now of course now it's a little bit more difficult, because the barrier of the language is much bigger. Yeah. Because in the Netherlands everybody could speak English, and everybody was more helper. But here it's totally different mentality, and now I'm still adapting to this country, to this culture. So now in this period, it's been more difficult for me. Yeah. Because I didn't come here like a test. I came here like a proof already. Yes, that I could score goals. But and I started very well, but never in my career I had an injury, a long injury. I mean, maybe I've missed 2 days of training, 3 days, but never more than a week. So yeah. After my injury in my shoulder that I had spent I have to spend like 3 months out. It's been another kind of situation, and that's why it's been much more difficult to handle it, because it's something new for me, and that's why in this kind of situations, I know what you're gonna ask. I think the key is having the support of your family and your loved ones. If you are by your own, it's gonna be very tough to get out of these situations.
Absolutely, absolutely. And your environment, as you just said, is so important. And your experience that you've had so far can help you in this situation too. And all the things that we've spoken about and the things that you are doing at the moment, because you came back into the team for Dyanamo Kiev and you scored when you came back into the team. So you're doing something right. So it's about repeating that and keeping consistent.
Yes, exactly, and it's about this. It's about never give up, as I said in the beginning of the conversation. It's no matter what happened, but even when you are in the last piece of hopeness, or in the last, you don't have any hope anymore. But you need to have this little in deep in your heart that is telling you, just go again, do it one more time. And I think if you have this, there is no chance to no success. Maybe not in football, but in any aspect of their life.
For sure, agreed. And once again, I don't want to take too much of your time. I did promise that we'll be speaking for a short while, but I do appreciate the information you gave. It's always good to get a professional's perspective, you being quite open and honest, and just looking back in your career so far. So I want to thank you for your time. You're looking good, and hopefully we can see you in action. After you, sorry.
I mean, if someone has any question for me or young players, I would like to tell you that they can get to me through Instagram or Facebook, and then I can answer some question if they have, because I think this is important for young players, that someone with experience can help them. Because when I was young player, some guys helped me, but maybe if I have some more guys that or some other points of view that it could have helped me, maybe I would have became better player. We don't know, just the chance that they can get to me and they can contact to me through Instagram. I will be pleased to answer them.
Absolutely, I love that, and thank you for that. I'll make sure that that's a message that we push out there, and I respect that from you as well. So I'm very grateful that we took this opportunity to promote that. How are you feeling in the lead up to the weekend? You feeling good? You feeling sharp?
Yeah. I'm feeling very good. I'm happy now. All my family is healthy, so now I'm okay. In football, I train a lot, so I have the feeling I didn't miss any fitness or any game fitness, so I feel quite great.
Perfect. Well, appreciate your time, my man. Listen, we look forward to seeing you in action on the weekend, and we'll touch base soon. Yeah?
Okay, my friend.
Take care. Perfect. There we have it. Great speaking to Fran, and what a guy. I'm sure just speaking to him just for a short moment, you was able to tell that. And, you know, he's shown a SUBMAX mentality in every step of his career so far. Just even think about the context of, you know, how his career's gone so far, only speaking Spanish, playing in the Liga, and then moving to Holland, where the language is different, the culture is different, the way of football is different, the style of play is different, and he managed to survive that just from a, you know, humanistic point of view, adjusting to the culture, adjusting to the language, and then you're required to play at the highest level consistently. You know, things didn't go well for him initially, but as things went on and he showed that SUBMAX mentality, he became a cult hero. You know, and now he's in Ukraine, where he's actually going through that process again. And just speaking to him and highlighting the SUBMAX mentality, there's no way that he's not gonna do well and break those barriers and break those doors that he has done all throughout his career. And so what is the SUBMAX mentality that he displayed? He mentioned how he handled the disappointment. It was short-lived, it didn't last long. And the reason why we could tell that is because he said he kept his mind engaged. He said he started some businesses and started, you know, focusing on some hobbies and allowing him to at least start not just thinking positively, but thinking practically. He started doing things to keep his mind occupied and to take his mind off the disappointment. Speaking to him, he said he's driven, determined, he's passionate, which means for someone like that, for you to not play, it's going to be disappointing. But it's so important that you don't let those emotions last a long time. So we got his friends and family around him as well. As I said, started some businesses. He kept his mind engaged. What else did he do? He mentioned that he spoke to coaches to identify what he needed to do to get himself into the team. That's important. Identifying the criteria. And that's what he showed there. You know, and speaking to him once again, he mentioned him being so driven and determined. For you to be like that, you're going to be putting in the work to get there. So once you identify the criteria, it's what are you doing with that golden information? It's almost like a cheat pass for you to get yourself into the team. What are you doing to do that? What are you doing to get yourself back into the team? And so that's what Fran showed. And just, you know, showing the kind of guy that he is, he even just like offered just off the bat, like mentorship. So follow him, check his story. It'll be good to see how he progresses at Dyanamo Kiev. Message him, get some information, get some tips from a great professional. And that's what he's offered there. And I think that's quite impressive, you know. And as we go throughout the Feel for Football podcast, we'll be speaking to other professionals. And hopefully you'll get some gems that can add value to you from their perspective. And obviously from the psychological perspective for myself. So on to the next episode. Hope that adds value. But also I would like you guys to let me know how you get on. Even use the hashtag SUBMAX. You know, if you're someone that's going through that process and you're trying to break into the team, hashtag SUBMAX. You know, do a post with when you scored or, you know, what you do on social media. Hashtag SUBMAX. I would love to see and check in with that SUBMAX hashtag and see how you guys are getting on. And I would love to hear your story. So always get in touch. I'm looking forward to hearing. Till next time, take care.